Okay. So getting into the previous class, so in the last lecture, we have seen about your DFT properties. Okay, some of the important properties I have covered, namely periodicity, then linearity. Okay, then we have seen about your time reversal, order sequence, new sequence you have seen, and then we have dealt with your time sequence. Okay, time reversal. So each and everything we have seen. And for some of the important properties, we have also dealt with the proof. Okay, dealt with the proof, and we have covered some problems also, right? So the problems related to your with respect to your properties. So we have dealt with that. And in today's class, what we'll be dealing is that we'll be seeing one another one important definition of the property. Okay, and after that property, I will be moving to the next important topic. Okay, so I'll be moving to the next important topic. Okay, so in the last lecture, we have seen about the properties mainly. Okay, so we'll be getting into the today's lecture, and in today's lecture, we'll be dealing with your uh, one property, which is nothing but your Parseval's theorem. Okay, Parseval's theorem. So we'll be seeing about this theorem. We won't be getting into the deep part. I'll be just explaining. So if you need the proof about this, you can just get into your Anand Kumar book. Okay, so it's very clearly it is given. So what this Parseval's theorem does, what this Parseval theorem does is that the Parseval theorem, from the Parseval theorem, you can infer what you can infer. You can infer whether the signal, that is x of n, is whether the signal is energy signal or not. Okay, it is possible to say whether your signal is energy signal from this theorem. Okay, so this theorem is a very simple theorem. Nothing but it will be as per your conjugate. Okay, you have to take the conjugate and you have to say the value. Okay, so they are asking to find the Parseval's theorem means what they will be giving means they will be giving you two signals. They will be giving you two signals. One is your x1 of n. Okay, so this is your first signal, and the next one is x2 of n. Okay, this is your second signal. So they will be giving the signals. And after this, what you have to do is you have to take the DFT. You have to take the DFT. Okay. So this is nothing but the, as per your Parseval's theorem, your what you can say is the value must be the square value. So like that it should be. Okay. So moving on. So if you're taking the DFT for the second signal, so for the first signal it is nothing but the x1 of k, and for a second signal it is nothing but the x2 of k. So these two are nothing but the signals that we have got after taking the DFT. Okay. Then after your Parseval's theorem, what will happen is that the definition, that's the expression you'll be getting from your Parseval's theorem as summation n equal to 0 to n minus 1. So x1 of n, x2 star of n. Okay. So this value becomes 1 by n, okay, 1 by n summation k equal to 0, n minus 1, x1 of k, x1 of k into x2 of k, but the part is this will be your conjugate term. Okay, this will be your conjugate term. Okay, This is what your with respect to your Parseval's theorem, and this Parseval's theorem, as I said, you can infer about your energy signal. Okay, so whether the signal is energy or not, you can infer from it. And regarding this, I will be dealing with an example. Then you will be getting somewhat a clear-cut idea. Okay. So okay. So next is example 17. We can take example 17. So given. So they have given your okay. They have given your DFT value. That is the DFT of your signal is x of n. So they have given your x of n the DFT. So if you're taking x of n or DFT over x of n means this becomes x of k. Okay. So now this value they have given. This x of k value they have given. Okay. So 4 comma minus 2j comma 0 comma 2j. Okay. So this is the given signal. So what they are asking to find so A, what they are asking to find DFT of x of n minus 2. So they have given the DFT of x of n they have given, but they are asking to find the DFT of x of n minus 2 in your A part. In your B part, it is DFT of x of minus n. Okay, this is the B part. Then the C part, DFT of x star of n, which is nothing but the conjugate value. That is the D part, DFT of x square of n. Then in the E part, DFT of x of n. Okay, convolution, circular convolution x of n. Okay. They are asking to find the circular convolution for the same signal. Okay. So F part is looking to be a signal energy. So they are asking to find the DFT value based upon your properties. So these are the properties, main properties which are involved. So moving on, solution you can get into solution. So as I said, first you write the given in the solution. It's nothing but DFT of x of n. Okay, this is equal to x of k, the signal. The signal you just write it. Okay. X of k, the signal directly you write 4 comma minus 2j comma 0 comma 2j. Okay. So this is the signal. So now from this signal what you can infer? The number of samples n. Okay, n you can take. So n equal to 1, 2, 3 and 4. So it is 4. Okay. And now we can get into the first one. So first one is nothing but they have asked to find the DFT of x of n minus 2. So this belongs to which property? It is nothing but the time shifting property. Because your sample n, that is signal x of n, is shifted by two values backwards or to the past. Okay, so it belongs to time shifting property. So for this value you have to find your DFT. Okay, the simple one that we can apply the property. So DFT of x of n minus 2. Okay, DFT of x of n minus 2 is equal to, okay, as per your time shifting property, what you can write as e power, okay, minus j 2 pi 2 pi, okay, 2 pi by 4 into 2k. So this 2k represents your, that is actually here it will be coming as mk. Okay, here it will be coming as mk. So mk is nothing but this is your value of m. So your m value will be going to here into x of k. So now what it happens? So now it becomes e power minus j 2 pi by 4 into 2 into k. So 2 get cancelled. Okay, into x of k. Okay. So now this becomes DFT of x of n minus 2 will be equal to, this value will be equal to e power minus j pi k into x of k. Okay. So now what you have to do, you have to substitute each and every value. So starting from 0 to 3. Okay, that is 0 to n minus 1. Okay. So if this becomes x of, that is x of 1, x of 0 into e power minus j pi into 0, so it is nothing but e power 0, comma, x of 1 e power minus j pi, comma, x of 2 e power minus j 2 pi, comma, x of 3 e power minus j 3 pi. As I said, for your even terms, what you will be getting? You will be getting your e power minus j value as 1, and for the odd terms you will be getting as minus 1. Okay, so e power 0 is nothing but 1. So your x of 0 value you have to take. X of 0 value is nothing but this value. So your x of 0 corresponds to this value. So this is your x of 0, and this is your x of 1. This is your x of 2. This is your x of 3. Okay, so now we have to put your x of 0 value over here. So now what happens? It becomes 4 comma, that is 4 into, so e power 0 is 1, comma, this value x of 1 is minus 2j, so this becomes minus 2j into minus 1, comma, 0 into 1, comma, minus j 2 into minus 1. Okay. Now you have to solve this. If you are solving, you will be getting DFT x of n minus 2 will be equal to 4, comma, 2j, comma, 0, comma, minus j. So this is the value. We will be getting into the B part. So B part, are they asking DFT of x of minus n there. So this is nothing but your time reversal. So it is your time reversal property, because the positive part is given with your negative part. Okay, so it is a time reversal property. So as per this, what you can write, DFT of x of minus n, okay, x of minus n will be equal to x of minus k, which is nothing but your conjugate value you have to take. Okay, so you have to take the conjugate value of this x star of k. This is as per your property. So this is what your property defines. Your property defines this thing. Okay, this is what your property defines. So next, so you have to take the conjugate value for the signal. Okay, so if you're taking the conjugate value means what I said, your j term will become negative. So here it will be 4 comma. So already there is one minus, that is 4 comma minus j. This is your signal comma 0 comma 2j. So for this you have to take the conjugate. So your j term will become the positive. So it will be 4 comma 2j comma 0 comma, here positive becomes negative minus 2j. Okay. So this is your B part. So moving to the C part. So as per the C part, are they have given conjugate they have asked to find. So DFT of x of conjugate of n. So this you have to find. So it is the same similar thing what you have seen in the previous one. So it is nothing but DFT of x star of n. Okay, DFT of x star of n. This will be equal to x star of so just a minute, be back. Okay. So now you have to take the conjugate value. So what happens? You're taking the conjugate value x star of minus k, the same thing what you have done in the previous one. So it will be the 4 comma minus, sorry, 2j comma 0 comma minus of 2j. So over here there will be coming star. Okay. So if you're taking conjugate means it will be 4 comma minus 2j comma 0 comma 2j. So this is what you have to know. Okay. So next one, it is D. So D, what they are saying, they are asking to find your circular. Sorry, they are asking to find the convolution. That is x square of n. They are asking to find. So DFT of x square of n they are asking to find. So DFT of x square of n. Okay, this we have to find. So as per this x square, we can write dft x of n into x of n. So this is what contributes to your x square of n. So as per there's some property, as per your property of product. Okay, so here the property uses property of product. This you can refer in your book. Okay, so as per this one, if you want to find the DFT of the product of two signals, means what happens is that you have to take the circular convolution of it. Okay, you have to take the circular convolution of it. So as per this, what happens is that so you have to take 1 by n x of k circular convolution of x of k. So this is if you are finding means you can take it. So by this, it will become 1 by n. N value is nothing but 4 into 4 minus, that is the signal 2j comma 0 comma 2j into, sorry, circular convolution of the signal again 4 comma minus 2j comma 0 comma 2j. Okay, so now what happens, you have to multiply this. So 4 into 4 will be multiplying. Okay, so again you will be, you have to take the circular convolution and divide by 4. So if you're doing that, means you will be getting 1 by 4 of, okay, 1 by 4 of, so minus 2j will be, right, 18, actually 4 into 4 it is 16 comma, so minus 2j into minus 2j, so jj becomes j square, so there will be another one minus 1 coming, so minus minus gets cancelled out, and from the j square one minus will be coming, so 2 into 2 it is 4, so you'll be getting minus 4 comma 0 comma minus 4. So now you divide by 4, you'll be getting 4 comma minus 1 comma 0 comma minus 1. So this is your DFT of x square of n. Okay, so second last E part. So E part is nothing but your circular convolution, DFT of x of n circular convolute x of n. Okay, so for this will be your answer, this thing. Okay, so how it happens, DFT of x of n circular convolute of x of n is equal to x of k into x of k. Okay, so you'll be getting the answer as 4 comma minus 2j comma 0 comma 2j into 4 comma minus 2j comma 0 comma 2j. So if you are multiplying, means you will be getting the same part, 16 comma minus 4 comma 0 comma 4, sorry, minus 4. Okay. So the last part F is your Parseval's theorem. Okay. They ask me to find the signal energy. So if they ask me to find the signal energy means you'll be getting into your Parseval's theorem. So as per your Parseval's theorem, a signal energy can be found out by 1 by n, okay, summation x of k square. Similar to your energy signal what we have studied in the first unit. Okay, the same formula. If you are putting, you'll be getting signal energy equal to 1 by 4 summation x of, so your n value is 4, k the whole square. So if you're putting means it will be 1 by 4 summation 4 comma minus 2j comma 0 comma 2j, okay, the whole square. So this value you already know, we have already seen, but you have to sum it. So it will be 1 by 4 16 plus 4 plus 0 plus 4. So it will be your, you'll be getting a value around 6. Okay. So it is a finite value, or you can say it's a energy signal. Okay. So this is how you have to do the problem if you're asking in terms of your properties. Okay. So more examples and problems or exercise problems are given in your book itself. Just refer with that. So I'll be next moving to the next topic. You just see through the problems. I'll be afterwards putting the this PDF. But before that, I'll give an overview. I'll give an overview of this problem, and then I'll be moving to the next thing. Yeah. So in this, what you can see, they have given your x of n. Okay, x of n they have given. They given your x of n. So this is your x of n. They are asked to find your, first they are asking to find your TFT of x of n minus 2, then x of minus n. So these are the given thing. Okay. So moving on. So for the first property, we'll be making use of the time shifting theorem. So this is what your time shifting property indicates. This one. Okay. So you'll be applying the theorem, and you'll be getting around like this. So for first one, you'll be applying time shifting. For second one, you'll be applying time reversal. Time reversal property you'll be applying. For the next one, they simply ask to find the conjugate. They have simply asked to find the conjugate. So the conjugate we have already found in the previous time reversal. So the same thing you can use over here. And next they have asked to find the x square of n. So for the x square of n, there's given the property of product. As per the property of product, it is nothing but 1 by n, that is number of samples, into x of k, circular convolute of the x of k. And next they have asked to find your signal and your circular convolution they are asked to find. Okay. So this is what with respect to the problem. And now we will be moving to the next part. This is nothing but your FFT. Okay, so we'll be moving to the FFT part. So from this, actually till now we have covered only half of your unit. Okay, half of the, you can say, uh, half of the third unit we have covered. So the next half we'll be getting into. So the next part is we'll be getting into the FFT, fast Fourier transform. This is nothing but FFT. Okay, this is what we'll be seeing today. And okay, so first we'll be starting with the basics. Okay, so first what I said, I'll be recalling the basics again. So in order to find the signal, okay, in order to find the signal in the unit circle. So if it is a discrete part means this is a unit circle. So what happened is that to find the DTFT. So your DFT, I'm just recalling, you just make it clear. So for DTFT, it's nothing but the sampling procedure now to get the signals. Okay, so this is what I have given the application is related to your MATLAB. Okay, so after your DTFT, what you'll be doing is you will be sampling in the Z plane. Okay, we are taking the discrete signals only. Okay, we'll be sampling in the Z plane, but how you will be sampling is that the sampling will be in a random manner. Okay, the sampling how it will be means it will be in a random manner. It will be like the sample part will be like this or this. Sampling will be in the random manner. It won't be in the uniform format. Okay, like this it will be in the random manner. Okay, so this corresponds to your DTFT. Okay, so after finding the DTFT is what we have dealt in your second unit. Okay, after finding the DTFT, we have went through a DFT. Okay, so what a DFT says? The DFT says that the same thing what the DTFT, from the DTFT only we will be extracting your DFT signal. Okay, it is also the same plane and same everything. But what we have seen was you will be sampling with the equal period. Okay, the sampling takes place in an equal period. So that's what we have seen with respect to your 4-point DFT, 8-point DFT we have seen. So this here corresponds to your 8-point DFT. Okay, so in your DTFT, this will be your unequal sampling. For your understanding, you can have it is unequal sampling, and this corresponds to your equal sampling. So this is what we have seen till now. Okay. So this sampling procedures can either be taking place in both your time sequence, can take place in your both time as well as your or as a frequency. So these two are interrelated. So these two are interrelated as the time and frequency are reciprocal to each other. Okay. So now what we'll be seeing is that we are going to see about fast Fourier transform, which is otherwise known as what you can say. It is also known as FFT. Okay. FFT will be seen. So starting with, you have to write your. You don't need to go with your DTFT. Now, from the DTFT, FT you will be deriving your DFT. Okay. So for your FFT, you can derive it from your DFT, but with some conditions. Okay. So this is how it goes. But for deriving, there are some applicable conditions as well. Okay. So the first part of the unit 3 will be from your properties related to your DFT and your DFT general. The general DFT problems will be covering in the first first part of your unit 3, and in the second half we will be dealing with your FFT. Okay, now we will be seeing about your FFT. So starting with you have to write the signal x of n. So for x of n, if you are taking DFT means what happens? For x of n, if you are taking DFT means, so it becomes x of k, okay, x of k, which is equal to summation n equal to 0. So this is your DFT formula, okay? N minus 1 x of n e power minus j 2 pi small n k the whole divided by capital. So this is what your DFT formula. So DFT formula. So in this thing, I have already said this is a very important part for your DFT. This is nothing but your Twiddle factor. So your Twiddle factor can be written as, so this Twiddle factor has many names. Okay, what are the names? First I will be saying. So your Twiddle factor Wn. Okay, this is your Twiddle factor be equal to, you already know it. I have many times said it is nothing but e power minus j 2 pi by n. Okay, so this is your Twiddle factor. So it has multiple names. One is Twiddle factor. Other one is complex value phasor factor. Okay, complex value phase factor. So these are the two names. Okay, so now I'll be saying why you need FFT. I'll be saying, okay, why you have to go for FFT? What is the reason for going to FFT? Because at the DTFT you had some problems. The main problem is that the computational time is more in terms of your DTFT, okay, when compared to your DFT. Because the number of samples there was not of any equal space or anything. But in your DFT, it will be of equal space. So it will be somewhat more easier for calculation. So in the FFT, okay, coming to FFT, the main drawbacks in DFT is satisfied. That is, as the name suggests, the FFT will be more, what you can say, will be having a very less computational speed. Okay, in terms of the speed, so in terms of speed, your DFT will be slow. Okay, sorry, computational speed you can take. So if you are taking computational speed means your DFT speed will be very high and DFT speed will be very high. So your FFT will be very low in terms of the speed. Speed category if you are taking means your FFT will be very low. So the main advantage is that the fast Fourier transform will be having a very less time period for computation. Okay, so why we are going to why 50? So the computation duration is minimum when compared to FFT. Sorry, DFT. When compared to DFT, because as the name suggests, that's what it does. Okay. So we have okay, coming back again, we have know about the Twiddle factor now. Okay. So in case of your complex signals, okay, you're finding the complex signals. What happens if x of n is a complex signal? Then there will be two parts. One is your real part and your imaginary part. Then what happens is that your x of k will also be having two parts. One is your xr of k, which is nothing but the real part, plus your j x of k, which is nothing but your imaginary part. Okay, This you can take it as I. Okay. So these two will be coming into action. So if you are taking two things means what happens means x of k will be like this. X of k will be equal to summation n equal to small n, okay, 0 n minus 1, okay, xr of n, so this is nothing but the real part plus j into xi of n, is nothing but the imaginary part of the signal, okay, into this Twiddle factor we are representing. So the Twiddle factor is represented as cos 2 pi, okay, the Twiddle factor only we are representing cos 2 pi nk by n minus of j sin 2 pi n k by capital N. Okay. So now you have got this thing. So now what you can do, you can group it out. You can group the real part with the real part and the imaginary part with the imaginary part. You can group it out. And if you're grouping means the total xr of k, what you can write as xr of k is written as summation n equal to 0, okay, n equal to 0, n minus 1 xr of n xr of n cos 2 pi n k by n plus x I of n sin 2 pi n k by n. This is what we get for the real part, and for the imaginary part, xi of k will be. So this is similar to the same problem what we have seen in the properties. So in the properties we have seen, right? In the properties we have seen about what can I say, the odd and even property. Okay, that property is what repeated over here. Summation n equal to 0, n minus 1. Okay, so x r of n cos the same, sorry, not cos, sin. Here with this imaginary part. So imaginary part, if you're grouping means it will be coming like this: n k by n plus, sorry, here minus comes out. The minus comes minus xi of n cos 2 pi nk by n. So this is with respect to your DFT. So now what you're seeing is, so you have to find the DFT in terms of your real as well as your imaginary part. So this is your real and this is your imaginary. Okay. So now what happens is that, so your computational time period nearly doubles. Okay. Computational time period doubles and it needs nearly, so your computation time period doubles in case this is as per your DFT. Okay, I'm saying as per your DFT needs 2n square. Okay, this is a time duration for which it takes okay, for trigonometric function, the trigonometric function. Okay, so computation for trigonometric function. So this you have to know, but in order to study this, 2n square, and then 4n square time period for real multiplication. Okay, and after multiplying, you have to add addition also you have to do, because there's some addition component also there. So you have to add. So for that, it takes around 4n into n minus 1. These are the duration what it takes. Okay, for real addition. Okay. So now what the drawback is that these time periods and all can be minimized by using your FFT. Okay. And also the symmetry property is possible in your FFT. So FFT, another one advantage is that both your symmetry as well as both symmetry and periodicity. Symmetry and periodicity property is applicable in your FFT. So further we'll be getting into FFT. So now I said why you are going for your FFT, and now we'll be seeing what is FFT. Now we'll be seeing. So after this I will be stopping. Okay, what is FFT? And if you can see, and then we can stop it. So here, what they'll be doing is the endpoint sequence. That is the number of samples. Okay, the endpoint sequence is decomposed, or you can say it is decomposed. Is decomposed into successive smaller size DFTs. Successive smaller size DFT. So this is what your FFT means. So they're asking your what is FFT? They're asking means it's nothing but the sampling of the endpoint sequence, okay, or the decomposition of the endpoint sequence into successive smaller sizes. Okay, it is still more subdivided. So the subdivision, how it goes means this n value will be equal to multiplication of R1 into R2 into R3 into R. Similarly, it goes up to Rm. Okay. These are the subdivision or the decomposition of your samples. Your samples gets decomposed. Okay. And here, this R value refers to your radix. R-A-D-I-X. Okay. So based, your problem sometimes will be based upon the radix. So what happens is that there will be some default predefined values for each radix. Okay, while getting into the problem, I will be explaining. Okay, so I think we can stop with this for today's class, and okay, so thank you, and we can stop with this for today's class.